The following is a short demonstration on how to create internal components, or two alternatives, I should say, for creating internal components in Fusion. In Fusion, in order to join parts, they need to be components. In Dr. Shee's textbook on Fusion, he teaches you to create components in the following way. He first has you create a sketch to make a component. We're going to make a simple rectangle here, 2 inches by 1 inch. And we'll extrude that to create a body, 1 inch. And so now we have our body, and so he has you go to that body then and click on Create Components from Body. Okay, so now that body is a separate component, and we're going to go rename that to rectangle. It's actually not a rectangle, it's a box. Let's say a box. And we have our first component. Then we're going to go and create a second body. So we're going to create another sketch. And this time we'll make a cylinder. We'll make a 1 inch circle. And then we'll go extrude that. Make a 1 inch cylinder. Minus 1 inch apparently. And we're going to make a new body. Say OK. Okay, so now it created a new body, and we'll go to that body and we'll say Create Components from Bodies. And now we have a second component down here, a cylinder. And this works, but the downside to this is that these components, the sketches are tied to a base here, and the bodies are in a separate component, so they're not encapsulated. So I don't have an easy way of knowing like what is this sketch associated with. Is it with box, or is it with cylinder, or what? So what I call encapsulation is that everything to do with a particular component is encapsulated within that component. And the advantages to that are, one is that any sketches in this component are associated with that component, versus these sketches which you don't know. Sketch one, you can figure it out, but if you have a complex model with 10, 20 sketches, you don't know which sketches necessarily belong to which components. So it's better to encapsulate them within. And so to do that, the alternative way to create these two components, I'm going to turn these off, is to instead right click on your base component and say New Component. And now we're going to give that a name, and we're going to say Box 2 and say OK. Now we've got this empty component here, and if we activate it, make sure that little dot in that circle there is clicked on. So to do that, if the base is selected, it looks like this, and to activate this, we go down and click on that box and activate it. Now I'll create a sketch, and create my box 2 by 1, finish sketch, and extrude it 1 inch. Now we can see over here that my sketch and my bodies are included within this component. And so there's no confusion about what that is. I can create my other one. I go up here again to my main component, activate it, and create new component, cylinder 2. Make sure it's activated, create a new sketch, make my circle, finish sketch, and extrude it, -1. Make sure you choose new body here, because if you do join by accident, no new body will be created in this component. Instead, it'll be joined to the body in the other box component. So I'm going to say OK. And we see now again that this sketch we know is associated with this body because it's encapsulated within that component. That's the other advantage that I know of at the moment is that if you want to create an external component of this to be able to take this component now and use it in another part, if you do a save, you can use save copy as to save these components, but if you save copy as on this component, the sketch that's associated with it will not go with it. All you will get in that new component is the body, which means that now you cannot modify that. In this one, if you do a save as, copy as, the sketch and everything associated with that component goes with it, and then you can use that component in another project and modify it because you have the sketch. So those are the advantages. That's the alternative way to create components in Fusion. So those are the two ways to create internal components in Fusion, and even a tad bit there on how to export that into an external component that can be used everywhere else. I might argue that the second way is a better design philosophy. It's what you might call object-oriented, where everything to do with a particular component is encapsulated within an object, which results in a more discrete object with less ambiguity and more shareability.